Americans are showing no signs of slowing down when it comes to their demand for travel, and at the same time, the cost of travel continues to rise.
And that is a trend that is expected for the rest of the summer and perhaps through the end of the year. CBS News senior travel advisor Peter Greenberg joins us from Fraser Bay in Canada. Peter, how much are Americans expected to spend on travel this summer?
Well, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be over $200 billion. In fact, it'll probably top out at about $214 billion. And to give you an idea of what that means, that's 39% above last year. It's 261% above 2020, which is not a surprise. But the real interesting signal is that it's over 111% above the last really big year, which was 2019. So we're showing no signs of slowing down.
And threats of travel delays and long lines, it's not deterring people?
Apparently not. And in fact, look, we just went through a Memorial Day weekend where we survived that, probably because weather was not an issue, but the airlines really haven't adjusted their schedules properly. We have an air traffic controller shortage. The TSA is already warning against longer lines this summer because of their own staffing issues. So, and given the demand where every plane is full, we have all the ingredients for a long, hot, and expensive summer.
Peter, you look like you're in the North Woods, so tell us about where you are and what you're doing.
Well, I'm actually right now at a UNESCO World Heritage Biosphere in Fraser Bay, Canada. Just to give you an idea where that is, it's about 3 hours from Toronto. How I got here was on board an interesting ship. It's an ice-class Antarctic ship built for that purpose called the Octantis. But in the off-season, meaning the summer, they reposition it through the locks, and we are now basically sailing through the Great Lakes. We started, by the way, in Milwaukee, in Lake Michigan, and then into Lake Huron, and here we are in Fraser Bay, ending up in Thunder Bay in a couple of days.
So it's a smaller ship.
It's about 380 passengers. It's not a behemoth. And it's great because it was built for this kind of expedition. We've got 2 submarines on board. We've got 17 Zodiacs. We're kayaking. We're getting out and exploring something that Americans take for granted, the Great Lakes.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like quite the adventure.
It does.
All right, so now let's go up in the air. Passenger disruptions, they are still a big problem, Peter. So what happens with those unruly passengers when they're taken off the airline? Are they arrested, fined, banned? What happens?
Well, let's start with some numbers. You know, 2020 and 2021 were really tough years. Remember, the FAA were reporting, we talked about this on your show so many times, over 7,000 incidents of unruly, disruptive, or downright violent passengers. We all thought that went away with COVID. It did not. 2022, last year, up 37%. And to give you an idea of the real numbers here, it went from one bad incident per like 835 flights to one bad incident for every 568 flights. That's an unacceptable number. And you ask the question of what happens to these people? Well, obviously they're taken off the plane. In many cases they're arrested. You may see in stories where the airline said they're banned for life. Not necessarily. Very few have paid fines, very few have gone to jail, and in many cases, all those news announcements from the airlines that were banning these people for life, they actually have invited many of them back if they promise to behave. Oh, boy.
Oh.
It could be a long, hot summer.
And it will be.
All right, Peter, we'll let you get back to your ship. Thanks for being with us today.
You got it, guys.